What is up, everybody? JT Dangerous here once again. I am back for my Week 12 college football predictions. Now, with Week 11 in the books, we are now into Week 12 of the college football season, with next week being rivalry week and the following week after that being championship week. So I'm very excited to do my Week 12 college football predictions for you guys, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record coming into Week 12 after a damn good Week 11, we went 13-4. So our overall record coming in is 89-45. So we're coming in hot. We haven't had a losing record since Week 2, and I'm looking to keep it that way. So hopefully in this video we will continue the winning ways. We're on a 9-week winning streak. Hopefully in this video we'll hit double digits and make it number 10. Now, this is the third of 5 big videos that will be up on the channel today, so I hope you guys will be able to watch all of these videos. As always, show your support by watching these videos, super kicking those like buttons, hitting that notification bell, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your college football teams in the comment sections down below. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel, it's a first-time viewer, and this is your first video, boy, you picked to go in if you're a huge college football fan like myself, and you're ready for Week 12 of the college football season. Welcome to the Dangerous Lions. I'm JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is to whoop whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these Week 12 college football predictions. Starting off on Wednesday night with my Week 12 random game of the week. Coming out of the MAC conference in the East Division between the Buffalo Bulls heading to Ohio to face the Ohio Bobcats. Now, this is the 25th meeting between Buffalo and Ohio. Ohio leads the all-time series 14-10. The Bulls won the last meeting last year, and the Bobcats are looking to defeat the Bulls for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 11s. Buffalo's coming off a big win over Kent State on Tuesday. They're coming in at 9-1. And Ohio's coming off a loss to their rivals, Miami of Ohio, coming in at 6-4. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about these teams. That's why I call it the random game of the week, because I want to give those kind of teams that a lot of people don't know some love on my channel. But the Bulls are coming in 9-1. I mean, I've heard that this is their best season since the 1999 season, and they're going to definitely be in the MAC championship in Week 14 against either Northern Illinois or Western Michigan. So Buffalo is definitely having a fantastic year. On the other side, the Ohio Bobcats are having a rough year, but hey, they have 6 wins. They're going to be in a bowl this year, so there's no shame in that. So coming from me, in this MAC East Conference showdown on Wednesday night, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bulls to defeat the Ohio Bobcats. And now the Saturday game, starting off in the ACC Conference between the Duke Blue Devils heading to Death Valley to face the number 2 team in the college football playoff, the undefeated Clemson Tigers. Now, this is the 54th meeting between Duke and Clemson. Clemson leads the all-time series 36-16-1. Clemson has won the last 4 meetings against Duke, and the Blue Devils are looking to defeat Clemson for the first time since 2004. Now, both teams are coming off big wins in Week 11 in the ACC Conference. Duke coming off their big win against rival North Carolina, coming in at 7-3, and Clemson's coming off their big win on the road over Boston College on Saturday, coming in undefeated at 10-0. Now, the Atlantic Division is already wrapped up by Clemson, so this game is just a game for Clemson. Now, on the other side with Duke, they're not in the race in the Coastal, being that Pitt and Virginia are the top 2 teams in the Coastal, but hey, they have 7 wins. They're going to be in a bowl this season, so there's nothing wrong with having a winning record going into the bowl season. So, coming from me in this ACC Conference rivalry showdown, oh man, if Duke can beat Clemson, that would shake up the college football playoff to its core. I mean, any of these last undefeated teams lose, definitely will shake up the college football playoff. But coming from me, I am taking Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers to defeat the Duke Blue Devils in a really close one. And now the next matchup. It is an ACC Atlantic showdown between the Boston College Eagles heading to Tallahassee to face the Florida State Seminoles. Now, this is only the 16th meeting between Boston College and Florida State. Florida State leads the all-time series 10-5. Boston College won the last meeting last year, ending Florida State's 70-year winning streak against them. And the Seminoles are looking to defeat Boston College for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very bad Week 11s in the ACC Conference. Boston College losing at home to the undefeated Clemson Tigers on Saturday, coming in at 7-3. And Florida State coming off their loss on the road to undefeated Notre Dame on Saturday, coming in at 4-6. Now, with the Atlantic Division already wrapped up, this game is all about seedings in a better bowl or even making it to a bowl. Now, starting off with Boston College, they're coming in 7-3, so they're going to be in a bowl this year. But that loss to Clemson definitely hurt. I know College Gameday was at Chestnut Hill on Saturday. That place was going crazy. Corso picked Clemson, so did I. But again, Boston College is a good team. This is maybe their best season in a long time, and they're going to be in a bowl game this year, so you can't deny that this season has been a good year for the Eagles. The only other side of the Florida State Seminoles coming off just another loss, and this has been a bad year for first-year coach Willie Taggart. I mean, he has to win this game, and then he has to beat Florida next week just to have the Seminoles bowl eligible, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, this has been a rough year for Willie Taggart at Florida State, but again, there's always room for improvement in next year for sure. So coming from me in this ACC Atlantic Showdown, I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon and the Boston College Eagles to defeat the Florida State Seminoles. And now the next matchup, a game that will be played at Yankee Stadium between the Syracuse Orangemen facing the undefeated Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Now, this is only the 9th meeting between the Cuse and the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame leads this all-time series 5-3. Notre Dame has won the last 2 meetings against Syracuse, and Syracuse is looking to defeat Notre Dame for the first time since 2008. Now, both teams are coming off big wins in Week 11. Syracuse coming off a big win over ACC rival Louisville on Friday, coming in at an impressive 8-2, and Notre Dame coming off their win at home over Florida State on Saturday, coming in undefeated at 10-0. Now, starting off with Syracuse. Syracuse is having their best year in a long time. I mean, 8-2. I think they're in second place in the Atlantic Division behind Clemson. But this has been a fantastic year for the Orangemen. I mean, Dungy, their quarterback, has had an amazing year. They've been solid at the Carrier Dome at home, and we can't say that. We haven't said that since Donovan McNabb played at Syracuse. I mean, come on. And they're going to be in a solid bowl game with 8 wins. That is for sure. And they're looking to shake up the college football playoff with a huge win on the road. Then on the other side of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming in hot. They are one of the teams that are in the college football playoffs right now. I think they're the number 3 team behind Michigan, Alabama, and Clemson. So all of these games now are so important because you got to stay undefeated to stay in the top 4. Because if you lose one of these games before the college football playoff starts, you're going to drop, and you're going to drop real fast. So coming from me in this matchup at Yankee Stadium, ooh, man, this game is practically a home game for Syracuse because they're playing at Yankee Stadium and Syracuse is in New York. So this is practically a home game for Syracuse. So that'll give them the distinct advantage. But coming from me, I am taking Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to remain undefeated and defeat a very good Syracuse Orangemen team in a real close one. And now the next matchup. It is an American Athletic East Conference showdown between the Cincinnati Bearcats heading to Central Florida to face the UCF Knights. Now, both teams are coming off big wins in the American Athletic Conference. Cincinnati coming off a win over the South Florida Bulls on Saturday, coming in at an impressive 9-1. And the UCF Knights coming off a beatdown win over the Midshipmen of Navy, coming in undefeated at 9-0. Now, this game is definitely going to tell us who's winning the East because it's really down to these 2 teams, UCF and Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati's coming in with only 1 loss, and I think their 1 loss was to Houston, and Cincinnati is in the driver's seat right now. They win, they're going to be in the American Athletic Conference Championship. They lose, they'll be in a pretty solid bowl game. So they're in the driver's seat right now to make it to a solid, possibly New Year's 6 bowl game. The only other side, you have the UCF Knights coming in, one of the last 4 undefeated teams in college football right now, and UCF has not looked back ever since they got rid of Scott Frost. They've been undefeated for 2 years. I think they have the longest active winning streak in college football right now, and with USF next week in that big rivalry game, UCF cannot look ahead for sure. They got to look right here and now. So coming from me in this American Athletic East Conference showdown, this one's going to be tough. This one's a tough pick right here. But I'm going to go with the undefeated UCF Knights to remain undefeated and defeat the Cincinnati Bearcats in a really, really close game. And now the next matchup. It is a Big Ten West rivalry showdown between the Wisconsin Badgers heading to Purdue to face the Purdue Boilermakers. Now this is the 86th meeting between Wisconsin and Purdue. Wisconsin leads the all-time series 48-29-8. The Badgers have won the last 12 meetings against the Boilermakers, and Purdue is looking to defeat Wisconsin for the first time since 2003. And I think that was the Kyle Orton years at Purdue. Now, both teams are coming off tough losses in the Big Ten Conference in Week 11. Wisconsin coming off their loss to Penn State on Saturday, coming in at 6-4. And Purdue coming off their loss to the Minnesota Golden Gophers on Saturday, coming in at 5-5. Now, with the Big Ten West being already wrapped up by Northwestern, congrats to Northwestern for winning the Big Ten West Championship. This game is all about bowl seedings, because with Wisconsin at 6 wins, and coming from me, I thought they were going to win the Big Ten West. They were my favorite to win, but that loss to Northwestern and BYU definitely hurt them, and losses to Ohio State and Penn State definitely hurt them in the process. And this year has definitely been not their year. Even though Jonathan Taylor is having a solid year, Wisconsin 6-4. They're going to be in an early bowl game, but they're looking to get a big win here in the Big Ten West. Then on the other side, you have the Purdue Boilermakers coming in at 5-5. I mean, their only big win was against Ohio State. Let's be honest. Their only big win was against the Buckeyes, which definitely helped Michigan definitely take over the Big Ten East. So coming from me in this Big Ten West showdown, can the Purdue Boilermakers end the Badgers' 12-year winning streak against them? It's not going to be easy, but coming from me, I am taking the Wisconsin Badgers and Jonathan Taylor to defeat the Purdue Boilermakers and make it 13 straight wins. And now the next matchup, we're heading to the Big 12 Conference between the Iowa State Cyclones heading to Austin to face the Texas Longhorns. Now, this is only the 16th meeting between the Cyclones and the Longhorns. Texas leads the all-time series 13-2. Texas has won the last 2 meetings against the Cyclones, and Iowa State is looking to defeat Texas for the first time since 2015. Now, both teams are coming off big wins in Week 11 in the Big 12 Conference. Iowa State coming off a big win over Baylor on Saturday, coming in at 6-3 and bowl eligible. And the Longhorns are coming off a big win over Texas Tech on Saturday, coming in at 7-3. Now, with the Big 12 Conference kind of down to just 2 teams, my Sooners and West Virginia, this game is all about who's going to be making it to a much better bowl. Now, Iowa State this season, after an amazing year last year, are coming in 6-3, which is not bad. They are bowl eligible, and they're going to be in a bowl game this year. So that's definitely a good note for Iowa State Cyclones fans for sure. And they're looking to knock off the Longhorns on the road. And then on the other side of the Longhorns coming in at 7-3, and let's just be honest. And I'm being an Oklahoma Sooner fan here through and through, but Texas is having maybe the best season they have had in a long time. I mean, they beat us, they nearly beat West Virginia, they nearly beat Oklahoma State, but this Texas team is getting better and better each and every year. And they're going to be in a bowl game this year for the first time in a long time, it seems. And Texas is looking to get another big win at home in the Big 12 Conference. So coming from me in this Big 12 Conference showdown, oh man, this one's so tricky. Iowa State's looked good lately, and Texas has looked good too. Edinger, their quarterback, had a monster game against Texas Tech on Saturday. He is one hell of a talent there. But coming from me, I'm going to go with the Texas Longhorns to get it done at home and defeat the Iowa State Cyclones in a close one. Hook 'em. And now the next matchup. It is a Pac-12 showdown between the Arizona Wildcats heading to Washington State to face the Washington State Cougars. Now this is the 44th meeting between the Wildcats and the Cougars. Arizona leads the all-time series 27-16. The Wildcats won the last meeting last year, and the Cougars are looking to defeat Arizona for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming out very different Week 11s. Arizona's coming off a bye in Week 11, so they're coming in at 5-5. And Washington State's coming off a big win over the Colorado Buffaloes on Saturday, coming in in at an impressive 9-1. Now, the Pac-12 North is kind of set with either Washington or Washington State's going to win it. Pac-12 South is really anybody's game with Arizona State and Utah. Well, Utah is really the best team in the South right now. So this is just a regular Pac-12 conference game that definitely could shake it up if Arizona can knock off Washington State. Now, starting off with Arizona, excuse me, this is a big game. They can knock off Washington State before the Apple Cup against Washington on next Friday. This would be huge. Khalil Tate is a fantastic quarterback. Kevin Sumlin's done an okay job, and they're just one win away from bowl eligibility, and they have Arizona State next week. So if they don't win here, they have a chance to finish at 6-6 in Kevin Sumlin's first year at Arizona. Then on the other side, you have the Washington State Cougars coming in at 9-1. I mean, Pac-12 North is kind of wrapped up when it comes to who's gonna win. It's either Washington State or Washington in the Apple Cup next week on Black Friday. So Washington State can definitely not look ahead. They gotta stay in the here and now and get the job done. So coming from me in this Pac-12 showdown, I'm gonna go with the Washington State Cougars to defeat the Arizona Wildcats. And now the next matchup. It is a Pac-12 South rivalry showdown, and it's the battle for the victory bell between the USC Trojans heading to the Rose Bowl to face the UCLA Bruins. Now, this is the 88th meeting between USC and UCLA. USC leads the all-time series 47-31-7. The Trojans have won the last 3 meetings against the Bruins, and UCLA is looking to defeat the Trojans for the first time since 2014. Now, both teams are coming off tough losses in Week 11 in the Pac-12 Conference. USC losing to California on Saturday night, coming in at 5-5, and UCLA coming off their loss to Arizona State on Saturday, coming in at an abysmal 2-8. Now, starting off with USC, when I watched that game, they were up 14-0 and they lost 15-14. So they blew a 2-touchdown lead against Cal on Saturday, and they're coming in at 5-5. I would never have thought that the Pac-12 South would have been won by Utah. I really thought USC was going to win that South Conference, but coming in at 5-5 and they're just hoping to just be bowl eligible this season is very unlike USC. They have definitely been the most overrated team this season. A lot of people put a lot of hype on them being the next big team in the Pac-12 South, and they're turning into the jokes because 5-5. I mean, come on, USC. I thought you guys used to be good. Then on the other side, you have UCLA, who's even coming off their worst season, and Chip Kelly's first year there at 2-8. I mean, Chip Kelly, this ain't the NFL anymore. You can't start tanking in your first year. And you're back in the Pac-12 and you start off 2-8? Again, UCLA, was it really worth it to get him away from the NFL and bring him back to the Pac-12 just to start off his first year there 2-8? Ugh. So coming from me in the Pac-12 South showdown and the battle for the victory bell, both teams are bad. But coming from me, I'm going to go with the USC Trojans to defeat the UCLA Bruins. And now the next matchup. It is an SEC East Conference showdown between the Ole Miss Rebels heading to Vanderbilt to face the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now this is the 93rd meeting between Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. Ole Miss leads the all-time series 51-39-2. Ole Miss won the last meeting last year, and Vanderbilt's looking to defeat Ole Miss for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very bad Week 11s in the SEC Conference. Ole Miss losing to Texas A&M on Saturday, coming in at 5-5, and Vanderbilt's coming off their loss to Missouri on Saturday, coming in at 4-6. Now, this game is big for Ole Miss because they're a win away from bowl eligibility, and they got Mississippi State next week in the Egg Bowl. So if they can't win here, I don't know if they have a chance to win against Mississippi State on Friday in the Egg Bowl. But this game is definitely a must-win for Ole Miss. Same deal with Vanderbilt. They're coming in at 4-6. They need 2 more wins to be bowl eligible, and Vanderbilt's definitely not had a great year in the SEC. That is for sure. So coming from me in this SEC Conference showdown, I'm going to go with the Ole Miss Rebels to defeat the Vanderbilt Commodores in a close one. And now the next matchup. It is a Big 12 conference showdown between the West Virginia Mountaineers heading to Stillwater to face the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now both teams are coming off very different Week 11s in the Big 12 conference. West Virginia coming in, defeating and blowing out TCU on Saturday, coming in an impressive 8-1. And Oklahoma State coming off their heartbreaking 1-point loss to my Oklahoma Sooners in the Bedlam game on Saturday, coming in at 5-5. Now, with the Big 12 Conference already wrapped up between my Sooners and West Virginia, and with them playing next week on Black Friday, this game is big for West Virginia. They cannot look ahead to us. They got to look to here and now. And West Virginia is having an amazing season. Will Grier is having a monster year at quarterback, and West Virginia is looking to get another big win on the road. Then on the other side, you have Oklahoma State coming off, again, that 1-point loss to my Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday. They lost the game because of a missed field goal. And ironically enough, his last name was Amendola. If that's a sibling to Danny Amendola that cost Oklahoma State a big win over Oklahoma, that would be so crazy. But Oklahoma State looked good. I can't hate on them. They gave us a fight. Mike Gundy did a fantastic job, but just fell short because of a missed field goal and a failed 2-point attempt. And they're coming in at 5-5, and they just need one win to be bowl eligible. So coming from me in this huge Big 12 showdown, just because as a Sooners fan, I want West Virginia at their best next week on Black Friday. I am taking Will Grier and the West Virginia Mountaineers to get it done on the road and defeat the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And now the next matchup. It is an ACC Coastal rivalry showdown between the Virginia Tech Hokies heading to Miami to face the Miami Hurricanes, or the U. Now this is the 36th meeting between the Hokies and the Hurricanes. The U leads the all-time series 21-14. Miami won last year against Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech is looking to defeat Miami for the first time in 2 years. Now both teams are coming off bad Week 11s in the ACC Conference. Virginia Tech losing to the ACC Coastal leader Pitt on Saturday, coming in at 4-5, and Miami coming off their loss to Georgia Tech at home on Saturday, coming in at 5-5. Now, this year in the Coastal has just been a complete joke. I mean, look how far Miami has fallen. I mean, they were in the ACC championship game last year, and look where they are this season. Just trying to make it to a bowl game this year. I mean, what a disappointing year for Miami. And I mean, what happened? What happened to the turnover chain? What happened to this team that was so high-powered last year with Nakasi Perry and Malik Rozier and Homer getting it done? It's like they just turned the off switch into this season and saying, oh, well, last season was great. It was an amazing year. We made it to a top bowl game. And then this year, oh, we're going to just go 5-5 and we're fighting for our lives to be in a pretty mediocre bowl. That's Miami in a nutshell. I mean, I cannot believe they went from a great team last year to a mediocre 5-5 team looking just to win to become bowl eligible. Same deal with Virginia Tech. I mean, who would have thought that Pitt and Virginia would be the top two teams in the ACC Coastal this season? I mean, nobody saw that coming. But Virginia Tech does have a chance to deny Virginia a ACC Coastal Championship because they play next week. And Pitt plays Miami next week. So so Miami and Virginia Tech could definitely deny either Pitt or Virginia an ACC Coastal crown. But coming from me in this ACC Coastal rivalry showdown between two teams that have definitely fallen real hard. Oh man, this one's so tough. And I know my man Eric Birch, a huge Miami Hurricanes fan, is definitely feeling the heat this season. It's just not been their year. But coming from me, this is the last time I'm picking them this season. I am taking the U to defeat the Virginia Tech Hokies in a close one. And now the final game in Week 12, it is known as the big game, and it's for the Stanford Axe in the Pac-12 North between the Stanford Cardinal heading to Berkeley to face the Cal Bears. Now this is the 121st meeting between Stanford and Cal. Stanford leads the all-time series 63-46-11. The Cardinal has won the last 8 meetings against the Bears, and Cal's looking to defeat Stanford for the first time since 2009. Now, This rivalry is one of my all-time favorites. We all know the legendary call of "the band is out on the field." That's what this rivalry is all about. It's been that big of a rivalry. Both teams are coming off good weeks in Week 11 in the Pac-12 Conference. Stanford coming in, defeating Oregon State in a blowout, coming in at 6-4. And Cal coming back from 14 points down to defeat USC on Saturday night, also coming in at 6-4. So both teams are bowl eligible, and they're looking to be in a much better bowl than where they are right now. But Stanford definitely looked good on Sunday against Oregon State. Bryce Love had a monster game. KJ Costello definitely had a solid game. And Stanford's looking to get win number 7. Then on the other side, you have the Cal Bears coming off their big win over USC on Saturday night. They were down 14-0 the last time I was checking them. And they won that game 15-14. So Cal is definitely having a much better year than they did last year. Last year was terrible for Cal. This year, they're bowl eligible for the first time in a long time. So coming from me, in the final game of Week 12 and the battle for the Stanford Axe, this one's tough. But I'm going to go with the Stanford Cardinal to defeat the Cal Bears in a close one. And those are my Week 12 college football predictions. Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching my Week 12 college football predictions today. Comment below, who do you have winning all these matchups? Who do you have? Do you see any upsets happening? Do you see any of the 4 undefeated teams getting knocked out this week? Let me know in the comment section below your picks. And as always, represent your college football team in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about them. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. And I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Now, before you guys go, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with friends, of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I will see you guys later today for my WWE Survivor Series 2018 predictions. Lesnar Styles 2 and Rousey Lynch. Later days, guys, and peace.